I'm 7 weeks into the Project 555 prep. Everything is going great. Over the course of those 7 weeks, I had 6 weeks where I did 100 kilometers or more. And that was also my first time ever having a 100 kilometer week. But now, as the training progresses and we get closer to the Project 555 run itself, my volume is going to increase. And hence my next challenge, my next run, which is part of the training, part of the increase of volume. It's going to be a 100 kilometer run in 2 days. The fact that I did 100 kilometers in a week just a few weeks ago for the first time ever in my life, and now I'm planning to do a 100 kilometer run in one go, still doesn't really click in my head, but I guess this is the new reality, this is the new norm. So we're just gonna accept it and keep going and power through. The run that I'll be doing is the Great Abbey Endurance Challenge, which is essentially a 12-hour race on a 5 kilometer circuit, and you have to run as much as possible over the course of those 12 hours. My plan is to run 100 kilometers. Whether or not I'll do it, I don't know, but we'll see. The plan is to get 100k in. The main reason why I'm doing this race is to use it as a little tester for the Project 555 itself. Firstly, I want to see how my body handles the load of running 12 hours straight, potentially 100 kilometers in one go. Secondly, I want to see how I feel the following day. Would I be able to run at all? And if I can run, how far can I run? Then in relation to that, from the point of view of recovery, what will work well, what won't work well, all these things I'll be able to implement in the Project 555 itself. From the point of view of nutrition, I'll be able to see how many calories I will need to consume on long days like that, what my hydration needs and my electrolyte consumption would need to be on long days as well. Then aside from the calories, I'll be able to actually see what foods I will be able to consume, because I know from personal experience on one-day events such as Ironman or shorter events such as marathons, I can really push myself through by using just isotonic drinks and gels, and the risk of having any stomach issues is relatively low for myself. But because of the length of the Project 555, maintaining myself solely on gels and isotonic drinks is going to be very, very difficult, and the chances of having stomach issues are going to be just so much higher. And that's just the chances I do not want to risk, because the last thing I want to do is run for 5 days straight, throwing up and having stomach problems. And during the Great Abbey race, I'll be able to test out various whole foods and see what actually works for me and what doesn't. But the most bizarre thing to me about this entire experience is the fact that I'm signing up for this 12-hour endurance race with 6 days notice, and I'm planning to run 100 kilometers. And only in January, like last year, I signed up for my first marathon, and I was doubting myself whether or not I'll be able to even finish that. Come forward a year and a half later, I'm doing this. It's very interesting how much you can push yourself and how adaptable our bodies are once you actually kind of put work into it. So like the human body will never cease to amaze me, and I'm actually very, very excited to see how I'll perform on Saturday. And I just know for a fact whether or not I'm gonna kind of crash and burn or whatever, regardless of anything, it's gonna be a great learning opportunity. So here we are. I'm currently 7 hours away from the longest running race I've ever signed up for. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I will be running a 12-hour endurance race in Great Abbey, County Down. This is where we are right now, in this amazing Barbie movie set Airbnb. There's just not enough bank here, but we will survive for the night being. What I want to do right now though is kind of go through everything that I'll be using during the race tomorrow, everything that'll be kind of carrying on me for the 12 hours, hopefully 100 kilometers, but we'll see. For the time being, let's just say 12 hours. Let's just go through all of my kit. So this is everything that I'll be carrying and using during the race. Obviously there'll be food, but we will go through that slightly later on. At the moment, just the kit itself. So these are perhaps the most important things, the running shoes. So because it is kind of a trail race, I'll be starting off with my Hoka Speed Goats. I'll be planning to use it for the first 50k definitely. After that, I'll see how my feet are. If they're feeling sore, if they're feeling a bit kind of swollen up, I might switch over to the Hoka Cliftons, which are slightly lighter, slightly more cushioned, and I'm hoping they'll be able to carry me for another 50 kilometers. Runners are very important, but so are dry feet. So tomorrow is going to be raining potentially for an entire day, so if that does happen, I do need a set of socks for every kind of few laps, so that's that. But as well as that, the most important thing for me that I found are these calf compression things, because from my previous experience, because I had bad blood clots previously, I kind of need help with my circulation, and I have kind of issues with circulation, and having those do help me in my kind of long races, such as the ultra that I did a few months ago, and the what else did I do? Oh yeah, the Ironman. The handy thing with these kind of calf compression things that I kind of find very useful is like not only are they kind of helpful here, but my knees have this tendency of just giving in on me when I'm racing, which is not great, but it does happen now and again. So what I do, pull up these calf sleeves and kind of make a makeshift knee support, which carries me through the race. Is this perfect? No. Should I get my knees checked out? Probably. Have I done it? I will. Realistically speaking, 100 kilometers, 12 hours, I will be sore. I will be in pain. Hence the tape, because my ankles haven't really properly recovered from the last ultra I did in the Wicklow Mountains because the terrain was very dodgy. This hopefully won't be the case for tomorrow's race, so if it is the case and my ankles are giving in, I'll be able to tape myself up and power through for 12 hours. 12 hours is going to be very, very painful, but I'm kind of looking forward to it and to be able to see how I handle it, both physically and mentally, because realistically speaking, for 555, once I get through day one, which is going to be like 100 to 150 kilometers, every single day after that, every single hour after that is going to be enough for my pain. So like, it's kind of nice to see what I'm kind of getting myself into. Do have this Solomon hydration pack. I probably very unlikely that I use it, but I do have it just in case. The course itself is a 5-kilometer loop, so I'll be able to come back and grab a drink as we go. In a very unlikely scenario that I'm completely dehydrated and I just like dying for water and I just need to kind of walk and drink, I will be able to refuel that and kind of power through, but because it's only a 5k loop, I'll be able to just go grab a bottle and go. So this is kind of an emergency scenario more than anything else. Now, of course, like with any other race I've ever done where I did very well, these shades and the cap, they're going with me everywhere. Did I ever tell you I did an Ironman? No. From the point of view of food and hydration, I'm gonna have like isotonic powder mix for every lap, and I'll have like a Powerade with me every lap. And then for every lap, I'll have one of these. This is just kind of an extra kind of calorie sugar rush that I want to have with me. I'll try not to rely too much on them because having too much isotonics might kind of mess up with the stomach, but also like gives me very sweet taste in my mouth, which is very disgusting after like 6 hours onwards. So I'll try to kind of keep it to whole foods like bananas and stuff like that and bagels. Speaking of pain and stuff like that, I know it's going to be painful. So we have the ibuprofen for when it actually shit hits the fan. And then once the knees, ankles, and all kind of good parts of the body start giving in, we have these Diphene gels, which are kind of painkiller gels. So take away the pain and power through the pain. I have learned my lesson from all the kind of warm races and all the other races I've ever done. I have these electrolyte salt sticks. I've used them for my Ironman, for my marathons, for my ultra marathons. They're my kind of go-to for getting the salts in, because I find I sweat so much, and like once I start sweating a lot, my electrolyte go all over the place. So having these to kind of to chew on throughout the race will be a lifesaver for me, along with all of the kind of electrolyte drinks I have. Now, from the point of view of actually what I'll be wearing, just the normal shorts that I've worn for all my trainings. For the start, because it's going to be slightly chilly in the morning, I have a long sleeve black top, and then once it kind of warms up, even if it's raining, I'll be running in a tank top, in a kind of a cutaway. If it's like very lush and raining and like I'm just not feeling it, I have a rain jacket just in case. Throughout the entire thing, I'll also be carrying my GoPro. Everything's set up. I'm ready to kind of wake up in the morning. The plan is, right now it's 10 o'clock. I'm like 2 hours behind. Should have been asleep for since 8, but it is what it is. We go on with it. The plan is I'm going to be up around 4 o'clock in the morning to get my breakfast in, get more electrolytes in, get more water in, be at the registration for 6 o'clock, and at 6:45 is a briefing, and at 7 o'clock is the kickoff. So we just checked in, we got our number 27. Didn't sleep that well last night, went to bed around like 1, woke up at 4, so 3 hours of sleep, not great, but it is what it is. In a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't get that much sleep, because it'll be kind of a great experience for the 555, because like essentially what's going to be just a major endurance test, trying to see how I perform when I'm very tired, sleep deprived, and just not enjoying myself. It's kind of nice that I'm semi-reproducing those conditions now.
Whenever you're coming in, as you go by us, make sure you shout your number out. That's how we will record each loop. Everybody remember your number.
10 seconds. Go around the car park.
So I am currently doing my second lap. I am leading the race. Closest person behind me is like 3-4 minutes behind. So it's good enough lead start. It is not the best conditions because it is a trail, quite muddy, and it's very narrow paths. So you cannot really run very fast. So that's not ideal, but it is still better conditions than the last ultra I did in Wicklow Mountains, which was just crazy unwalkable. So this is kind of what most of the trail is like. So it's not amazing conditions, so you can only run very fast through those kind of things, but we can still pick up decent paces on downhills and straight. The plan is finish second lap, then get some fuel in, Powerade and electrolytes, because the first lap was very easy, it was grand. Second lap I went a bit faster and I'm sweating a lot, so I don't want to be in a position where I start taking my fuel way too late and then end up paying with cramps and just crashing. Now I have to admit, some of the parts of the run are very scenic, running through the fields and all. Like, check this out, very cinematic.
Leaving the airports here, I'm gonna listen to music.
and it gets in the way. So far, ahead of everyone else, I have lapped about maybe 10, 11 people. I have a very good lead, very good chance of winning. So let's try to do that. I didn't take anything on for the last 2 laps, last 3 laps actually. Even though I'm feeling fine, I don't want to crash. That was rank, because I was 8. So I'm on my 4th lap, still in the 1st position. I have a good lead behind me, so I'm gonna slow down a bit, get my heart rate down, and just kind of cruise at an easy enough pace for the next 20-30k. There's no point for me to burn myself out, because at the end of the day it's a 12-hour race, and if I crash after like 5 or 6 hours, what's the point in that? Great thing about today though, as you could see potentially around me, the weather is starting to shit. Grey Abbey is turning grey. I really hope the rain holds off, because yes, I don't mind running in the rain, but better not to, because it's just not as enjoyable. The weather is actually perfect, kind of overcast, you're not heating up from the sun, and it's pretty kind of windy. It cools you down so that you don't really overheat. So if it stays like that, it'll be absolutely ideal. There's not much we can do about that. The funny thing I just realized though, that this is considered a trail race, and like yes, it's off-road, it's not as like even and all as a road race would be, but compared to the Barkley mini marathon I did 2 months ago, my first ultra, this is so smooth. Like even though it's muddy and all, it's still so smooth. So I just realized that the Berkeley mini marathon I did was an absolute trial by fire. So I'm ready for any trail race now. I'll take a break. A bit slower than I hoped, but like it's kind of expected because it's more trail than road. I don't think I'm number 1 anymore. I think only one guy overtook me, so like I'm still second. So first up for ultra, I can already mind. Has been a much longer rest than I hoped. I'm gonna bounce now. 31 kilometers in, 3 hours in, should get 100k within these 12 hours. That being said, the last 2 laps have been very difficult, and I begin to feel it in my legs. I'm not sure if it was because I kind of misjudged my food and fuel for the first like 3-4 laps, or because it's more of a trail run and it's more demanding because it's more technical. I'm still running. I had to resort to walking for maybe like 2-3 minutes at the start of this 6th lap, but so far so good. Like my pace is not amazing, I'm not breaking any world records, but I'm still going. This is kind of where this race starts now. So from 30k onwards, this is where like the little nicks in my body start to come out, and it becomes as much of a running game as a mental game, trying to see how much you can push yourself and how much you're willing to go through pain wise. So far so good. I have not dropped out of the race, still going. I'm no longer in the 4th position. I was overtaken there start of this lap. Even if I come 2nd and I get 100k, I'll be a happy man. That being said, it was nice leading the race for the first 30k or so. The thing about this race is kind of nice or not nice, I don't really know how I feel about it yet. Once you get past lap 3, at least that's the case for myself, you break away from a lot of people. You're just running majority of the race by yourself, which could be quite an experience from the mental point of view, because you have to kind of go and you don't have anybody to push you behind you or running behind you trying to kind of overtake you to motivate you, and there's no one really ahead of you to like run after. And anyway, that's kind of nice because you just focus on yourself and you're just focusing on your own running. For the past maybe 2-3 laps, I see maybe 2-3 people for the entire lap, so you don't really know where you are, what's happening. The course is only 5k, 5.5k. It's quite repetitive, so like at the moment I'm only like 6 laps in. They all begin to kind of blend in, so like you don't really know where you are. And that's only 3 hours in, 3.5 hours in. Looking forward to it's going to be like after 10 hours. 40 kilometers down, 60 more to go. I'm definitely slowing down. You're feeling my knees, softening my ankles. Terrain isn't helping, but like it is what it is. We have 8 more hours to go. Hopefully we get 60 kilometers more done. Fun day ahead. Like I do notice that like, in most kind of races where I'm kind of facing lighter built people, they tend to be quite faster than me, which means I have to work harder and push myself. I'm too tired to be motivational. I just want to eat a bagel and run. I can do a commentary or voiceover, inspire people with my bagel afterwards. So I'm currently 51 kilometers in and almost 6 hours in. Very tired, still going. The running technique has defaulted to the injured John Wick running away. That's not great, but we're still moving, so that's good. Now, yeah, I always have to look for the upsides. I'm slowing down with each lap because like my legs are just kind of getting tired. I'm not sure if 100k in 12 hours is going to be manageable today, but we'll try. We'll keep going. 27. Just got lapped by the guy who overtook me there like 2-3 laps ago. He's still going at the same pace, and now I've dramatically slowed down. It's nice to see what other people can do. I'm gonna need to change shoes on my next round.
Very intense banana eating though.
I'm a very intense man. Time for the machines to come out. I smell of shit. I'm running around farm fields right now, and there's a lot of smell of manure. And it smells so bad that my scent is actually overpowering the scent of manure in the fields. So I'll need to change now, for my own sake and for people around me. The refuel from, not last station, but like from 2 stations back, kind of kicked in. That's why I ran faster. So like I should be fine, because I'll be more or less stopping for each lap now just to get some food on.
Will you stop for the next one?
Yeah, I'll be like doing short, like few minute stops just to kind of keep refueling, because like last thing I want to do is just cramp up and crash. The easiest way to prevent it is just to have food coming into me constantly. I'm not sure if I'll get 100k. Like I am slowing down with each lap, and I only like, it's 6 hours, almost 6 hours now, and I just reached 51k, and like I don't see myself keeping up the same pace for the next six hours. I could prove myself wrong, but I think like 85 seems realistic, 85 to 90. For the time being, we'll take it 1 lap at a time. Some sexual content for my only ventilators account. You want to see running? Maybe more. Unintentionally, I've resorted to just having bagels as my go-to food right now. So I'm literally just hopping off bagels and bananas, because gels are just not going down anymore. Isotonic drinks are not going down either. So it's just like these ones here. It was definitely a good choice to like not use music for the first 40 or 45k or so. But at least now, like when I kind of need the music or like some distraction away from like the pain in my ankles and my legs and everywhere else, I can resort to music, and it's kind of a new stimulus. So I would have had it for the past like 40 or whatever k. Like wouldn't be as effective in my opinion, but it's something that I'll note for the 505 at least. 57 kilometers in. We're walking the first part because the first k.5 of each of the loops is very much just uphill. Like that. My legs are not in a great condition to run up them right now, so we're gonna use it as an active recovery and just walk it up. In terms of the rest of my body, ankles feeling iffy. I could feel like blisters just squeezing against my shoes, which is not ideal because I have like another 5-6 hours to go. Once I get back to the camp, I'll need to change my shoes. The reason why I haven't done it so far is because I only have one pair of trail shoes with me, and given that it's quite muddy, I don't want to change the road shoes because they don't have as much of a grip as my trails do. I'm hoping that by the time we get back to the camp, the trail will dry up a bit more. Should be fine. In terms of like ankles and knees, they're quite iffy, but I'm still able to move, which is good. I'm gonna start running once I get to a flat enough area. For the time being, the plan is to power through the pain, and when I'm kind of back to the base for the next lap, I'm gonna change shoes, change socks. I'm actually kind of afraid to see my feet. Surprisingly, my nails are still on my feet. Ooh, check out this blister. This one here. See here?
Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, jeez, the size of that.
Got it.
Plaster?
No, fine. Just gonna pop it. 4.5 hours to go.
Love that.
I'm kind of disappointed that my toe modelling career is over now, but alas, it's the sacrifices I have to make. Stuffed myself with ibuprofen, rub caffeine gel my knees, ankles, take away some of the pain.
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
I just like my knees. I'm going to do a montage of me like oiling up my knees, putting on anti-chafing cream foam in the nipples. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel for ventilators only. And power through for another 20-30k. It's actually ridiculous how I feel the guts. What? That was not English at all. This is actually ridiculous how I feel.
How good it feels.
How good it feels, yes. I'm still able to move, but obviously not able to speak. I have a banana and water. I think we could fix distance races. You know, they're done like once you get to the finish line. Like with these races, you have to like keep going. I find it easier mentally to race the distance rather than time. They'll stand between like 29 to 40k. It's just so slow. Like I thought I was gonna fall asleep, and then like I'm not sure if it was the food kicking in again or whatever, but like I started running faster again, so I'll take that. It's the bagels. See you in a bit. 63 kilometers in. We're starting off another lap. I switched up my shoes. The feet feel slightly better. I took 2 ibuprofen, so they'll be kicking in soon enough. so hopefully the ankle pain will be going away as well. I'm lathered up in diaphragm gel, so we'll be fine. The only thing is that even though I switched up my shoes, because my feet have swollen up so much, the shoe size that I have right now, which is normally fine, is too small, and that's something I didn't really think about when I was prepping for this. So for the next kind of long run, especially for 455, I'll need to source myself running shoes like a size larger, maybe a size or 2 sizes larger. The shoes that I'm wearing right now are already like a fraction of a size larger, so they should be fine, but because my feet have swollen up so much, they're actually squeezing the life out of my toes, which is not great. And this is only after like 60k, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like after 200 or 300 during the 555. From the point of view of pacing, 100k in 12 hours was ambitious. I'll try to get it. I'm still going for it, but we'll see how we get on. I feel like for the 555, the pace that I'm going on right now is kind of optimal enough, because I'm making progress without killing myself too much, and I feel like I'll be able to recover from this kind of effort much easier the following day. That being said, I have not finished this race. I still have like 4 hours to go, so a lot of things can change. Then as well as that, I have no idea what it's like going to be tomorrow morning when I wake up, so that's going to be another factor. And also because these shoes that I'm wearing right now, they're not really designed for trail. Their grip isn't that great, so I'm already slipping and sliding, so I might need to revert to my trail shoes, which have been in bits for the past few hours. We're 66 kilometers in, and this has just become my longest run ever. My previous one was 65 kilometers 2-3 weeks ago, so here we are. From this point onwards, it's all new territory for me, so I'm looking forward to see how my body reacts. So far with some blisters, sore joints and tears. Still have 4 hours to go. What else can we expect to see? Stay along to find out. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I paid for this. What the fuck? Sorry, not paparazzi. No, sorry, no, mate. So, stop it. Stop it. So I'm 67k in, which makes this officially my longest run ever. So that's kind of nice. Everything from here onwards is kind of uncharted territory. Still going, only quite twice. We still have like 3 hours to go, so the total value price will increase. Other than that, all good. Gonna get the obligatory bagels and banana now. 100. Yeah, buddy. 400. Nice. I'm hoping that these will come in just before the camp fully sets in.
You should not have.
88 kilometers down. I'm still surprisingly, for myself, running at 5 minutes per k pace. So one thing that I've learned from this, never fucking underestimate yourself. Like 5 hours back, I was doubting myself whether or not I'll be able even to get to 80. Now you're fucking sprinting for 100. Let's go. Yup, baby. Yup. Let's get this to 100. 12 more to go. 27. I felt something like pop on my toe, my red leg, so I'm hoping it's a blister. Maybe the nail come off, I don't know. I don't want to open it up because I feel like if I do open it up, it's gonna make it worse. So just gonna power through for the next hour and then deal with the consequences. So it's 8 minutes till 12 hour mark. I'm about 1k away from the base, so I need to make it to the base in time for this lap to count. If I don't make it in time, then the last 30-40 minutes would have been not counted. It would have been a bit of a waste of time. But that being said, when I get to the base, I'll be around 96k mark, which is not exactly 100, not exactly what I wanted. So what I've decided to do, regardless of whether or not it's going to count or not, I'm going to do another lap just to get to 100, because I said I'm going to do 100, which means I will do 100 regardless of whether or not it counts for the race. It will count for myself and for my training. A race 100 would be a nice bonus, but at the end of the day the goal is the 555 and we need to focus on that. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, I ran my first 100 kilometers. Whoop. Whoop, very tired. I'm a k and a half away from the base camp and the end of the day. Very excited to take off the shoes because I had like a few more pops on my toes as I was running, and I'm pretty sure it's just blisters popping on me. So it's going to be a nice sight once I get to the camp, get to the car and take off the shoes. For the time being, I'm going to put away the camera and sprint there because I just want to get this day over and done with. Last night I can't. I don't care. It's not going to do this thing. The main goal is 5.5. The main focus is 5.5. So, for that, let's look at George. Actually, good day. Okay, one, give it in. Nice bonus. Maybe it's the 100k that I wanted. It's the end of the race. Very happy how we got on. Distance wise, I was same as number one. First endurance run, I'm happy enough. I got what I came here for, the 100k, so it was a good kind of outcome for that. The interesting things that I'm kind of looking forward to right now is seeing my feet, because they have been popping left, right and centre for the past like 2 hours, so I want to see how I get on there.
Yeah, not good.
Look at this, you see the one on this?
Yeah.
It's like a conjoined twin. On the bright side, okay, my toenails are still on my feet, and then I want to see how I get on tomorrow morning. Like, will I be actually able to go for a run? If so, for how long? Like, how will my feet are going to be? So this is the, well, not the morning of, it's the day off, day after the 100k ultra, and right now I'm going to be performing a little operation on my little conjoined twin over here. I have a good few blisters to get rid of because I'm going to try to go for a run. Not sure how successful I'm going to be, but that's the plan. And I feel if you're going to go for a run with this still there, it's just going to be a pain in the ass. Still going to be painful with them gone, but like won't be as bad. That's my thinking behind it. I'm actually feeling pretty fine. I'm surprised at how fine I'm feeling. I did end up like being asleep for like 9-10 hours. So like sleep definitely helped with recovery. As soon as I got back home from the race, I literally just got passed out and I was just gone. Like, I'm noticing I'm slightly dehydrated, and I would say that's going to be the case for today, tomorrow as well. So like liquids is my number one priority. From the point of view of energy, I'm feeling fine. Like, I haven't like really crashed or anything like that. So the race nutrition obviously worked. That being said, like, I want to see how I feel in the evening and then tomorrow, but like, so far so good. What I'm very kind of excited to see and kind of try out right now is go for a run, because like as I said previously at the start of the video, like my main concern at the kind of race was to see how I perform over a long distance and then how I feel the following day. At the moment I'm feeling fine. My ankles are very sore, my toes are in bits, my knees are okay, they're bearable, but like it's not like I'm not dying. One thing that I kind of learned the hard way was anti-friction cream has to go everywhere, because chafing is a massive thing. From a previous experience, I know like I can get away without using any anti-chafing cream for anything up to like 50-60k. Fine, I can go out without it. But when I was out for 12 hours straight, anti-chafing was a big thing. So that's something I'll have to kind of bear in mind when I'm doing the 555, because it'll be like very long days, and if I'm just burned up in places where I should not be burned up after day one, it's just going to be bloody gruesome 4 or 5 days afterwards. So, and you don't want to be running like 400-500 kilometers when you're all just like in pain, not from point of view of just your ankles or joints, it's just kind of your like skin burning up. So what I do find helps to kind of dealing with kind of chafe and stuff like that, as the post-mat of that, is baby powder. Just baby powder everywhere. I'm currently 2 kilometers into my run. I can definitely feel it in my leg. They're very sore. My hamstring is very tight, hence my speed is not phenomenal, but the fact that it's still moving, I'm happy along with. Given that I ran 100k less than 24 hours ago and I'm still able to move right now and not be like in my bed crippled up, it's very kind of reassuring. Now, that being said, my toes are all wrapped up from all the blisters, so they're kind of iffy. I really hope this run doesn't make it any worse, but if it does, it'll be definitely experience they can learn from for the 555. Now right now I'm moving very slowly, but I'm still moving. The goal is to do at least 5k and then it's gonna take the rest of the day easy enough, a refuel, and then start off for another week of training on Monday. We're 5 kilometers down. I'll try to do 10. It's a nice number. So I just finished my run. I did 10.5k, which is better than expected. The legs are working. They're very sore, but they're still moving. From the point of view of what I would improve and what I have learned so far from the past like 24 hours between the race, the post-mat after the race, and like this run today, is that definitely I will need shoes that are at least a size up, because my feet are swollen up. I could feel them today when I was running. It was just like squeezing my like feet too much. My toes are in bits.
chafing is definitely going to be a huge issue, so I need to have like plenty of anti-friction cream, stuff like that. Hydration is a big issue because like in the morning when I wake up, like I was dehydrated AF, so like I will need to work on my hydration going up. And then in terms of kind of my legs, my joints and everything, that they are very sore, but I think it's going to be very much just an issue of just powering through the pain and just dealing with the consequences at the end of the 555 once I get to the finish. This could be a very bad plan, but that's the only plan I have at the moment. Until then, it's still like 2.5 months to go. I have time to work on my mileage, work up on my volume, and hopefully like the higher volume when it comes to the actual kind of 555 will be easier. That's what I have learned from the entire experience so far. The more pain I go through right now, the more work I put in right now, the easier it's going to be when I actually start running the 555, and the easier the entire experience is going to be. It's very much going to be just the case of just suffering through the entire thing up until the actual 555 in order so that I could suffer slightly less during the actual big run. But yeah, that's been this very interesting experience. My first 100k. This is actually where I just realized this is my highest weekly mileage that I've ever done. So this week I did 133 kilometers, I think, which is quite nice. Still functioning, starting from Monday, back to the grind. The counter's back to 0, so it's back to working on the volume, working for 555. Let's go.